Almost every major CS2 update is kinda tied to some new maps, major passes, skins, or changes to the armory. Sure, they recently added weekly missions, but people seem to forget that things used to be way more fun in Counter-Strike. Even back in 2012 with CSGO and pretty regular seasonal events. It all started with chickens wearing holiday hats, sweaters, or zombie skins that would come back to life after dying. Then they got pumpkins on their heads, then bunny ears and eggs that would appear after scaring chickens. Players would get Santa hats, random scary masks, and at one point even get resurrected as ghosts with a unique knife that could interact with physical objects on the map and spook other players. At one Christmas they added the ability to pick up snowballs and throw them, dealing 5 damage, and for Counter-Strike's 20th anniversary dropped a unique Dust 2 rotation, where each round the map switched styles from modern to the old school retro version from CS 1.6. Of course, that's not even mentioning the updates with the Revolver, MP5SD and Danger Zone, among many others. Over time the game got more serious and the fun factor slowly but surely took a backseat. But even so, we've seen devs working on some kind of pet system for a bunch of updates in a row, with mentions constantly popping up as far back as a few years ago. Based on early leaks, these pets will come from auction eggs as non-tradable cosmetic items, and one account can get only a single pet. You'll be able to inspect them, hold in your hands, set on the ground, and for some reason feed them. But in a recent update, something even more mysterious appeared, something that even CS2 devs are trying to cover up. But before solving the mystery, check out Skins Monkey. Use code GABEN and get up to a $5 bonus. Select a few of your current skins, pick a new one in the same price range, and exchange your old and ugly CSGO items to something new and shiny from Counter-Strike 2. Use code GABEN and buy skins much cheaper with a 30 plus 5% top-up bonus. Skins Monkey, links and my code down below. Long before the update that added the Ancient remake, we knew Valve was working on a new version of the map, since files started mentioning all sorts of assets tied to wet stones, wood, moon textures, and a soundscape file meant for a mysterious map called Ancient Night. A month later, the info checked out and the devs finally released a rainy remake of the map with both day and night versions. In general, the map layout stayed identical to the old one, but they updated the textures and visual effects to the PBR standard. However, there's one weird thing that's been bugging me for almost 2 months now. They added a golden room on top of B-side. Seeing what's inside that room is almost impossible, since from pretty much every angle, the only visible part is the ceiling. In some areas, you can see the top of a figure using boosts by other players, and only from one spot on CT spawn you'll be able to take a small glance of the golden monument in solo and a bit more with a boost. This new room wasn't in the previous version of the map. Well, the space itself was there, but it was pretty much empty. I honestly have no idea why they added something like that when fog and impossible angles make it almost invisible. Basically, someone spent time creating and setting up a separate gold material and model that 99.9% of players would never notice without watching this video. Having an artifact like this is super unusual for Valve, since they usually try to cut as many corners or non-essential elements as possible to simplify geometry and improve optimization. For example, Inferno got hit the hardest due to the same reasons. They wiped out pretty much all the physical props like flower pots or road signs and simplified half of the map to improve visibility. But the existence of this room isn't even the biggest puzzle. Before the remake dropped, they added a material and model called Ancient Ball, which is basically a golden soccer ball. Totally clueless, I shared my find on Twitter and the commenters were even more confused. At the time I figured maybe they were cooking an Easter egg for the new Ancient, but the remake came out, there's a golden room and zero signs of the golden ball. The first thought I had is I probably need to do something with the room to spawn the ball. And instead of blindly looking for the right action, I've decompiled the map to check my theory. But it's completely empty, no scripts or any logic baked into the map, and the golden ball itself isn't mentioned anywhere. The only option left is that devs forgot to place the ball on that pedestal to let players knock it off with a grenade explosion. However, no matter how hard you try, the grenade won't reach the right spot. So I decided to go straight to the source and ask the official Twitter account for a hint. But their reply left me with more questions than answers. Leave a comment with a soccer ball emoji if you watched this far.